So next cookie that I'm going to show you how to decorate is going to be our Cocamel. This is our version of the Girl Scout cookie. As you can see, the bottoms are actually dipped in chocolate. We cover it in caramel, toasted coconut, and we drizzle it lightly with more chocolate. So this is one of our top selling cookies. It's a 3-step process to decorate. The first step is to get your cookie ready. Again, you're always checking to check quality here. And this is just a sugar cookie base. And you want to start off with a melted pot of chocolate. Again, you can fill that up as much as you like. You're going to go through these. These are really popular. We'll go through a lot of them. Right now, the bottoms are not done in chocolate, so that's the first step. Take a little bit of the cookie or the spoon. It's just about a spoonful of chocolate. And you want to move it around in one big circle. And if there's any excess, go ahead and scrape some of that excess off. And then go back and make sure it's nicely smooth. Again, you'll notice I'm not going over the cookie. There's just a little bit of the sugar cookie that you can still see. It's about, like I said, it's about a spoonful. I like to put it directly in the middle, and then I can move the spoon around to make sure it's one nice uniform circle. Again, if there's any extra, just scrape that little bit off and smooth out your chocolate. The Cocamel cookie is one of the most popular cookies that we sell. We sell a lot of these in the summer, but you'll notice that it's a really popular cookie year-round. So you'll get to decorate a lot of these. Sometimes I'm constantly moving my spoon to keep the chocolate from dripping. Or if you notice that it is starting to drip, you can just catch it with the cookie. Again, if there's any extra, one last one, I'll show you how to finish them. Nice and smooth. And then we'll just let these sit on the sheet tray to dry, and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so now that you've let the bottoms set up with the chocolate, you can actually flip it over and it's not going to cause a mess. So we have a few here to decorate the top. So the next step is actually to get the caramel and coconut on top. We've already melted some of our caramel. It's best to actually use a plastic spoon so that the caramel doesn't stick to it when you're getting the caramel out of the bowl, and it doesn't cause such a big mess. The plastic doesn't allow the caramel to stick to it, so that's when you want to make sure you have is the plastic spoon. So what you'll need to finish this next step is your melted caramel and then also your toasted coconut. So make sure that the toasted coconut is nice and toasted with all the different colors in there, and if there's any big chunks, you can just break those apart and mix them in to the rest of the coconut. This is very similar to the chocolate on the bottom. You just want to use about a spoonful. Same thing, I kind of start in the middle and then I make sure that it gets smoothed out all the way around. If you need to grab a little bit more, just grab some more. This is probably about maybe a tablespoon each per cookie. And you just want to smooth it around, again making sure that you're leaving room on the outside edge, because what's going to happen is when you put your coconut on there and we go to finish it, it's going to make sure that this is going to be nice and clean when you go to put them in the boxes. So once you get this on there, it's still a little warm. You can just make sure that that part gets covered with the toasted coconut. You see any spots that are missing, just go ahead and fill those in. And I'll show you how to do a few more. Again, it's just about a spoonful. Depending on the thickness of the caramel, sometimes it's better if you heat it up a little bit more. It comes a little bit more smooth. Or sometimes if it's too thick, you just need to pop it in the microwave for a few more seconds. Again, notice how there's still a nice rim around the outside of the cookie. And you just dip it on there, make sure it's nicely fully and covered. If you start to notice that the coconut gets too flat, you can always like fluff it and make sure that the pieces are nice and airy. Sometimes when it gets too flat, it actually will break the coconut flakes and then they don't look as pretty. The caramel that we use for this is actually from Mrs. Call's caramel. So we ordered it from Mrs. Call's and we get them in big 5-gallon buckets. And they also make some other little candies that we use for some other specialty cookies. But if anybody asks, this is a local company here in town that we use to make our Cocamel cookie. We'll do one last one more so you can see. Excellent. That's the next step, and we'll show you how to finish this cookie. Perfect, so you made it this far. The last step into making the Cocamel, the beautiful drizzle on top. So again, we've already done the bottoms and the chocolate, the caramel, and then the toasted coconut on top. The last step is just to make the really pretty ribbons of chocolate on top. So again, we've got our bag of chocolate here that we have it melted. It's nice and melted. Make sure you don't get it too hot to where it burns your hands. You want to be able to work with it. This bag has not been cut yet, so I'm going to show you how to actually cut that. Same thing, I'm right-handed just as in the piping videos. All the pressure comes from the ball of your hand here, the palm, and then I always wrap it around my thumb just to keep it out of the way. This bag has not been cut yet for reasons is we want to make sure that it's a nice thin ribbon, so that means a smaller hole. The bigger you cut the hole, the thicker the ribbon of chocolate is going to be. So we need to actually cut this a little bit thin, and don't be afraid. If you cut it, you can always cut more, so start off small. And make sure that if you are working with any type of plastic with the ready-to-eat foods, that you're actually throwing this piece away so it doesn't get baked into the cookie. So make sure you're throwing that away. Another way to check to see how thin the ribbon is you can just hold it over the chocolate pot and drizzle it in there. You can kind of see the streaks. And this is a perfect size for us. So we barely cut the tip of it off. One other thing that I always tell people is when you're working with cookies, make sure that you bring what you're working with close to you. So if these are way over here, it's going to be very difficult for me to actually make those ribbons. So make sure that everything that you're working with is close to you so that you can make sure that you're not going to get them sloppy. A lot of times we'll decorate half the tray and then turn the other tray around to decorate the rest. So it doesn't create strain on coming all the way over to decorate all the way over here, and it could also cause it to be possibly mess it up or not look right. So what we've done is moved everything that we can closest to us so we can start working. I like to work from one side and go all the way over to the next. Work really slow if you need to until you get used to the rhythm of making those ribbons. I like to just kind of hold it nice and easy. Start off with one cookie from the side. Go nice and smooth all the way to the finish there. Notice I'm not going really far out or too close in. I see some people that do stuff like this, which is not correct. We want to make sure that the ribbon of chocolate is actually covering the entire cookie, but not too much. If you notice that it's a little bit too warm, the chocolate may come out of the bag a little fast, so you may need to let it cool down before you use it again. If it helps, you can always bring the chocolate up higher, the bag up higher, which creates, you're just using gravity to create that elongated chocolate ribbon. And again, just work from one side to the next. Keep practicing until you get the flow of it. And if you miss like a little spot, then you can go right back in and just fill it in. Again, the gravity is doing all the work out of the bag for me. I'm barely putting any pressure on it. The temperature is a great temperature. It's not too hot, not too cold, and it's really coming out nice. Now you'll notice that this is a little bit of excessive chocolate on the side. Had there been another cookie here, it might have dripped onto there. That's why I want to say you don't have to go all the way out to make those ribbons. It's okay to stick with just one cookie at a time until you get used to it. And that is how you decorate the Cocamel. Awesome.